Hello, hello. So, I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son, Owen, who is 13 and has autism. We paint together, working on his fine motor skills. He helps me paint the backgrounds of our paintings, and then I paint the rest. So, I'm pushing myself a little bit here. I've been trying to get where I am not doing exactly the same things kind of over and over, and I do that a lot. So what I'm gonna do is, the other day I made a mermaid. Let's see if I can show you without. There's a couple. my filing system here is just great. The hair is one thing I'm like kind of interested in working through and doing again. So that I may already have this like in the wrong spot, but we're gonna go. So this is mostly going to be covered by hair, but in my mind I want it to be in the right spot. And then we're going to put some arms up, and I'm going to make the hair a focal point, and the skirt is going to be like flowers. So we're going to work through some of this here. And her hands don't necessarily have to be, oh hello, perfect there, because you know she can have like a little fist or something in her dancing, so we don't have to, and they're kind of shadows as we go along. So we're gonna hope that her her hands are about in the right spots, but it'll be okay. Because like I said, I've got myself so stuck in this, I don't want to call it a rut, but it's kind of in a rut. Oh, I'm getting pain everywhere. So now I'm going to work on the skirt, and I just have these different colors, and I'm just gonna kind of make these flower like flower like design as we go along here. And just build on this, and I'm going to layer the colors kind of down as I go along, or at least that's my thought process. And like I said, this I'm kind of pushing myself outside of this little bitty box that I like doing my flowers and my things like that, but I'm trying to make myself go a little more into stuff other. And that purple may be too light on my background, but we're gonna keep going with it. We're gonna keep going with it. And I have a green to make kind of some leaves, but we'll see if we just like the fluff and stuff. We'll see. We'll stay. And I mean, they're kind of abstract flowers at that. So it's funny, earlier we have some storms passing through, and I do a weekly-ish podcast, and I heard it was going to rain, and the weather thing came on and said it was going to have severe storms. And whenever I think about the rain, it was always a concern. I've never been a big fan of storms in any way, shape, or form, and even actually the rain itself. But Owen is not a big fan, wasn't a big fan of the rain as a baby or for years, and he would have huge meltdowns. So that is kind of what I decided to talk about while it was raining, and I was recording, and a big boom came across, and I I jumped about 20 feet, I suppose, and the lights flickered on and off right as I was recording, and I was glad I at least didn't scream, but it was quite funny. So it's always interesting, and but now Owen handles the rain. He used to scream and want me to turn the rain off, and it was so hard on him. So he's come so far with that and made huge strides. So I'm beyond thankful. Beyond thankful. I was going to do 5 layers, but I made that one really thick, and we're running out of room down here, so you see. So we're going to do 4 layers, which is okay. I always like odd numbers of designs or things or something, but I mean, that's just, there's rules and there's ways things look, and you just gotta go. And I said the other night that I'm still working on proportions and like keeping things centered and that type of stuff. I've been painting for years now, and I still but you just have to learn to accept and move forward. So that's what we do. We accept and move forward. But it's it's one of the things that kept me from painting.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I didn't ask her a question. Oh, that's quite interesting. She interrupts me all the time. I don't know if anyone else, I don't want to say her name because she'll interrupt us again, but so she doesn't know how to help me with that. Believe me, I don't know how to help myself with a lot of things. So we're just going with the flow. But Owen's so much better with the rain now, and I don't know that it won't ever cause meltdowns again because he cycles through a lot of stuff, but thankfully right now he's dealing with it and handling the rain, and he slept through it, so that is also a good sign. A very good sign. Oops, I had more yellow than I was expecting. So, not that the yellow is bad, but I wanted it to look more flowerish. And that, I think I'm going to move my light to the other side since I paint on this side. Maybe that will help. used to be up higher, and that was better, but now that it's not, I think that's part of the little bit of confusion with my light. Okay, so I was debating, I have, like I said, a green that I was going to put some leaves in there. Leaves is always a word that gets me. It's kind of funny to me. But I don't think I'm going to put any of the leaves in there. I think I'm going to just let it be. I wanted this one a little more. Looked very solid right there. A couple of the yellow too. And as things dry, it'll change too. But I think it looks like flowers. So now we're gonna do the head. So we're up here, and like I said, we got. I make my. You can't probably tell in it right here, but I drew the body like this, and then the head starts up here. So that's the same type of thing we're gonna do. Like, we're gonna pretend that her head, my brush cut. We're gonna pretend her hair and her head are up here, and go through there. So Owen came home from school today, and he had a lot on his mind. He wanted to go to the park tomorrow, and I was all for it if he wanted to go to the park tomorrow. And he started telling me all of the people that he wanted to go. And most of the people that he wanted to go are like adults that are friends of ours that go to our church or go, different places. And he calls them all by their name, but he adds these like qualifiers. Like one of them is she listens, and one of them is sometimes wears blue pants. And I'm trying to think of, like, when he says things, I generally write it down because I want to remember all of the things that he says. So it's always interesting to me what he calls things. And one of the ladies, he will say she wears blue shorts and blue shoes. And it cracks me up how it's just all the different ways he remembers people or he thinks about people. Ooh, we got I almost had. So but after much processing and thinking and him going through the whole thing, he decided that he didn't want to go to the park tomorrow. I think he technically still wants to go to the park tomorrow, but I feel like sometimes things are way too overwhelming for him, and so he can't, even though he wants to go, he can't process it. He can't handle thinking about what's going to happen or going through with it. So I want him to go because I want him to have fun and enjoy himself, but I also know it's a struggle for him to process it and really, enjoy all of the moments. So I can't I can't make him, go and do something, even though he says he wants to do it. He then, like I said, he changed his mind and decided that was not something he wanted to happen. So now he could come home tomorrow and he could decide that he does want to go, and then I'm all for it. But I have a feeling that he'll stick with the not going. But like I said, maybe, just maybe, I need to learn to work with I have a couple different smaller brushes, but I always seem to like these, you're supposed to be able to do finer detail with some of these little things, but I always find that I have less control over the smaller ones than I do with the bigger ones. But that is not necessarily true. It's just the way I paint or the way I feel about it. So, if you haven't ever painted before and you have wanted to try painting, I can tell you that there are people that have this natural ability to paint. I wasn't one of them, and that was one of the things that kept me from painting for so long. Was I knew that I could not paint perfect paintings, and I still don't paint perfect paintings after years of painting every day. So it's not so much about painting perfectly, it's about painting from your heart, or painting because you want to do something. And that is what made a huge difference for me, is enjoy what you're doing, whether it be learning to knit or crochet, or working with dried flowers, or taking pictures, or anything that's learning to dance, something different. Don't ever give up on the fun part of being and living and doing, just because you think you can't do it perfectly or remotely like something. Just do it. Enjoy those moments. And that's what life is about. That's what you need to think about and deal with. So don't give up on the hope for tomorrow. Don't give up on the fun and the exciting parts of it, That one was kind of fading away once I was there. So I think we've got enough hair going everywhere. But see, her hands don't matter. You're not really concentrating. But she looks kind of like she's praying or dancing or something. I'm not sure. Maybe both. Maybe it's a bit of both. I want to do a little something here. Got a frog in my throat. It's the weather. I want to just put this out a little bit. Like, it looked like it was too squared off right there on this side. So I'm going to do that one. This. So it looks a little more like a this instead of a that. So I think we're about there. Some of these look like they're depending on how I hold the brush, it doesn't complete the strand, but it's okay. It's okay. Life's okay. Okay, so I think that's what we're gonna do. I feel like I should put some little lines on our hands, but I don't want to, like, I don't want to define them too much. It'll be okay. Okay, so we're gonna do O for Owen, and then L, and B. There we go. All right, thanks so much for watching and being a part of our day. Toodles, toodles.